everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, Shadows of Progress. I'm your host, Ria Kamath. In our last episode, we explored the algorithmic architecture of the creator economy with Anish Mehta and uncovered how, even as platforms promise to amplify, they often curate who gets seen and heard. Today, we continue that journey, but not through code or data. Instead, we enter the kitchens of homemakers in India, where recipes aren't just recipes, their currency, their credibility, and their quiet revolutions. In this episode, we spotlight the homemakers behind India's food tech boom, women who are flipping chapatis and flipping narratives of agency, income, and respect. But with every step forward, we ask, is the progress silently casting shadows? I'm joined today by Avinash Mudaliar, co-founder and CEO of HT Labs. I had the privilege of interning at Slurp, a recipe platform of HT Labs this summer, where I saw how homemakers were showcasing their recipes, giving them agency and income. Avinash, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Ria.
My first question, Slurp is clearly more than a recipe site. It's a homemaker movement. What was your vision for Slurp when you first started it? And how did the movement of creating 750,000 micro entrepreneurs begin?
Slurp was always built for the people, by the people, and of the people. I know it sounds like a very Indian democratic statement, but that's kind of where the entire idea of Slurp started. Currently, we are close to like 7.4 million unique visitors strong. And yes, you're right. We have over 750,000 micro entrepreneurs on platform. So when we first envisioned Slurp, we wanted to build a platform that allowed people to showcase their love for food, be it cooking, sharing their knowledge on food, or being a part of a community, and to meet like-minded, passionate people who share a common love for food. We Indians also don't measure our food. We don't see and take our calorific indices seriously. So then we thought that let's kind of use an algorithmic logic to kind of put that in place so that we can, enhance the product. But at the end of the day, the entire focus was to serve the Slurp community. Then the Slurp community evolved into what we call our own version of a micro incubator for homemakers. It was created as a common place for them to connect and explore opportunities to make a name for themselves by working with Slurp on multiple aspects of entrepreneurship, starting out from our own workshops, collaborations across digital and social events, participations, and so on. With these pillars in mind, the journey of Slurp began. And along the way, we managed to garner the support and the belief of these homemakers who are on their way to making their own entrepreneurial dreams come true. So that's kind of where Slurp started. I mean, it was a honest thought. It was a true thought. I think it seems to have reverberated amongst the great home chefs who joined us in this movement.
Yeah. Okay, so what you're saying is how Slurp has become a platform where people who share a love for food connect and expand their own journeys with food. So you mentioned something in one of our calls earlier that stayed with me, that some women started using recipe monetization, not just for income, but for recognition. Like suddenly their WhatsApp groups took them more seriously. So this wasn't just a financial shift, it was giving them more of an identity. So, did you anticipate this kind of emotional and identity ripple effect when you first built the platform?
To be frank, yes, we did actually. It was the core intent of our platform from the very beginning. The idea to create such levers within Slurp came from the heart because we saw it firsthand ourselves from our family and friends whose knowledge and love for food was not really truly being showcased. With the Slurp platform, we actually wanted to provide them with various opportunities to not only share their knowledge but also use the power of the Hindustan Times network to get them the recognition they deserve. This would have a knockout effect on what they would slowly get in terms of aspect of building a digital and social presence due to the added visibility amongst their industry and get currency within that. And Slurp would enable them to do that and play a significant role. So the flywheel was pretty clear. What we wanted to do is literally use the platform, the power of the HT network to actually pass on the recognition and the love which all these homemakers and home chefs deserve, right? And that was one of the levers of the entire movement. An example could be cases where some of the rare recipes and cooking methods, which are slowly losing their visibility amongst the younger audiences, are now being renegotiated, reinvented, and we feel that this kind of knowledge should not only be passed on, but celebrated through the Slurp platform. So that was kind of what the idea was.
Okay. So you just mentioned how you've kind of used the HT network to empower and like give more recognition to these women. So is there anything other than Slurp, like for example, the newspaper where these women were given recognition?
Yes, we did use the print platform. We used all our social media platforms. We've used our radio network and given them call out. So we literally celebrated them in more ways than one. We also do a lot of on ground activity. We do the Great Indian Cooking Challenge, which is one of the biggest cooking activities and competitions in India, where the home chefs actually participate with the top chefs of the country. So we build that sense of bonhomie and relationship with the best. So it's not only pure digital play, it is a literally 360-degree play, which finally culminates on the platform. Yes, so we use all the levers possible, which we have within our ecosystem to, get them the prominence, the respect, the love, and the attention they deserve.
Okay. So at Slurp, I worked on mapping how women's income from recipes impacted household dynamics. And what I saw was complex. So some women started earning enough to influence household decisions, while others may have underplayed their success to keep peace at home. So my question is, can technology empower without friction, especially in deeply patriarchal settings?
Okay, this is a pretty deep question, a very good
Yeah.
question. In our deep Indian patriarchal setting, like you rightly mentioned, our approach or one approach which we took was to provide the support of the community that we have on the Slurp community, and that kind of rubbed off. And using the use cases and the experiences of other community members, we were able to build trust amongst the respective family members of our community. Over time, the belief begins to transition from misunderstanding to widespread acceptance. So that's kind of what we did, I think, through technology.
That's so true. In a patriarchal society like ours, progress rarely happens overnight. It starts with friction, resistance, hesitation, even fear, and only through shared stories and community trust does that friction slowly turn into acceptance. We've often talked about these platforms offering tools such as SEO monetization and branding tips, but after talking to many Slurp creators, I was wondering how should platforms offer emotional or legal scaffolding, like for example, how to talk to your family about earning or what financial independence means, and even soft skills like confidence or digital literacy.
Okay, Ria, you're asking one deep question after the other. This is another pretty awesome question. This is a great question considering the family dynamics in most Indian households. However, the changing mindsets and the need for financial stability across families, such opportunities are now accepted or being accepted by most of the households. We've seen that a collective approach by the creator community on Slurp helps initiate discussions in their own families on the possibility of generating extra income and thus ease where there might actually be initial resistance. One is, there is this very old Orwellian quote, right? I think it's from Animal Farm that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than the others. This literally plays out very well in the Indian household ecosystem, right? Which is predominantly patriarchal. But when have these kind of levers, like literally making your presence felt, being there on a platform, also earning income, then all these factors literally become soft levers in the internal dynamics of a family. And the people are evolving to accept that and embrace it. And that's the revolution we are seeing.
That's such a powerful reference, and it really captures how equality on paper doesn't always translate to equality in practice, especially in patriarchal households. Real change begins in those quiet, everyday resistance, when a woman earns, asserts, or even just takes up digital space. And over time, those small acts start reshaping what equal truly means within families. So, of the thousands of women on the platform, is there one story that you keep coming back to, or one that either challenged your assumptions or moved you more than expected?
Well, there are many stories, but one common theme amongst all of them is the value of recognition. That is one belief that has strongly validated what we've done on Slurp. When we began, we wanted Slurp to enable these thousands of women that you talk about whose knowledge have never been showcased or highlighted, to name a few. But some of the enablers that we thought of across multiple channels and mediums were the cooking workshops, the content collabs, the recipe creation, building a digital presence, food photography, plating workshops, and others. And the fact that they have been overlooked for so long, and seeing the level of happiness and enthusiasm for more and the loyalty to the platform just drives home a belief that if you give, they end up giving more.
When I first joined Slurp, I expected to learn about data science, and what I didn't expect was to learn about dignity and how every data point had some story behind it. One question I've been grappling with is there are other food tech platforms. So what do you think is one thing that makes Slurp different, not just as a product, but more as a philosophy?
Okay, firstly, I want to ask a question. Have you learned some data science on the this one or during your tenure or not?
Oh, yes, I definitely did. But I think I just learned more than that by understanding the stories of the women on the platform and how it helped them in different ways as well.
Okay, I was just joking. I just wanted to know whether you picked up the skills which you came in to learn. But as a business, generating revenue is essential for a platform to survive. How one builds a platform with the intent of solely looking, no one builds a platform with, they build a platform with an intent of solely building a community. I mean, that's kind of been our thing, right? It's not only the balance sheets. If it's only the balance sheet, then its sole purpose lacks conviction and then withers over time. We built Slurp with the aim of helping people, finding solutions to challenges, and along the way, hopefully helping bring about a change in people's lives. I think it's we are by DNA product and tech people, but I think by DNA product and tech people with a heart, right? And I think with a larger stomach because food is literally soul sense of being. And there is a saying, right, that it takes a village to grow a child. So Slurp is that child, and all our content creators and all our home chefs are the village. Whatever Slurp is because of them. We've used technology to enable it, but it's technology with a heart. I think that's kind of what Slurp is all about. That's the core on which we built Slurp. I hope it continues to grow.
Zooming out, as you mentioned, Slurp is definitely part of something bigger, especially in India. We're seeing more women entering the digital economy as creators, sellers, even influencers. But do you worry that many of these women are stuck in the creator ceiling and celebrated but not really scaled? And what do you think it would take to move from visibility to voice, especially from revenue to real power?
See, the creator economy is built on being relevant, right? With Slurp, it's about food, and food is a category that's going to be forever relevant. It's something that will not die down nor fade away, but one will be able to meander along whatever path it might take with the changing times, but it's an essential. Our platform is built to enable them to acquire all additional skills, knowledge, connections, and thereby launch themselves into the greater realm of relationships and entrepreneurship, which will truly scale. Now we are also imbibing a sense of AI in the tools we are kind of building, but that's kind of under wraps. But yes, you will see a lot of AI tools coming out which will enable the community.
What stands out to me after this conversation is how change in deeply patriarchal societies doesn't arrive as a revolution. It unfolds quietly, meal by meal, conversation by conversation. Platforms like Slurp aren't just teaching women how to earn, they're helping families unlearn generations of bias. From friction to trust, these homemakers are proving that empowerment isn't always loud. Sometimes it simmers slowly until one day it becomes impossible to ignore. Thank you so much, Avinash.
Thanks, Ria. Great to be a part of the podcast. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.